Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 1st. We're just going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. And that'll be that. Could be undergoing like a difficult ending at this time. I don't know. Everybody seems to be going through something right now, but I don't know. I like this, having the Queen of Swords coming up after something like that, because it kind of says, look, she's open to receiving the Ten of Pentacles, so there's nothing wrong with that there, Leo. But let's see. Definitely a transformation. I mean, you end with the Temperance card and the Death card. That, to me, is a major transformation. The Death card, I think something people don't understand about the Death card in general is that it's meant to represent a big transformation. It's not like a tiny little thing. But the Temperance card, for sure, is another card of transformation, so major transformation. And you have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is something being dead, done, over with. So this is your current general energies. Personally, I don't consider the Ten of Swords to be that bad of a card because this guy is dead. Doesn't take 10 swords to kill someone, as I always say. So he's definitely experienced a death. And this here could be the sun rising in the background. He's also making a symbol right here with his hands that represents like a blessing. It's the same symbol that the Hierophant is making as well. So I feel for a lot of you, you could be making, like, receiving blessings, or you could be entering into a time of blessings. I do feel with the moon as your crossing energy, a lot of people have been getting the moon in their readings in general. There seems to be maybe kind of a, like a cloud over the things, or maybe like it's a little bit misty. We're not sure kind of like what direction to take. Are we on the right path, right? Especially with the moon, there's a path straight down the middle. So it basically says, yes, you're on the right path. The two pillars say, do not get off your path. With the moon card, there could be some things that happen that are a little bit scary, where we're like, do I make a change? Do I do something different? This basically says no, and several readings this week have been about not giving up on your path. Like, it basically says maybe some things need to be upgraded. Maybe some things maybe you need to be a little bit more flexible. I would also definitely say, as I've said to everyone else, that, we have Mars, on the 1st, basically. It actually might be today. I actually don't know if they're all at 18 degrees or not. I can look, but we have Mars, Uranus, and the North Node all at 18 degrees in Uranus, and to me, I don't think they're all at 18 today necessarily, because Mars hasn't caught up yet. But on the 1st, the day that this reading is for, then they'll all be at 18 degrees. 18 degrees is like the degree of the devil. And I don't think anything bad is going to happen. I would just make sure to be super flexible. I've been saying literally for 2 months that Knight of Wands keeps coming up for everyone. You don't have it here. And I've been telling everybody, I'm like, listen, we're entering into time where it's like you need to be spontaneous. You need to make sure that you're not like too fixed on one way of doing things. And I think that's a trick here with the moon as well. I feel like the moon is like saying, stay on your path, but be a little bit more flexible with like how you get to the mountains in the background of the moon card, which represent an accomplishment. You have the world here, which is an accomplishment. It's like clearly you're going to be accomplishing something over the next few months. You have the Ten of Wands here. This is in the area of your thoughts. I don't necessarily think that you need to think like, how can I work more? It's like, if you're thinking hard work right now, I don't necessarily think that's the correct answer, especially if you're like trying to grow your business, or, if you're trying to grow in career. I don't necessarily think working harder is the answer. Again, I think maybe working smarter is the answer. The other thing that I would like to point out is this Ten of Pentacles. Again, she is open to this Ten of Pentacles. And as I always say, there's another meaning for the Ten of Pentacles. The other meaning other than inheritance, all that other stuff, money, success, building or leaving a legacy. It can also represent hidden or secret information. And it's not really hidden. It's not some big secret. But the Ten of Pentacles kind of can represent needing to experience something like a career, a job, or needing to gain an experience from like another person. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I kind of feel like that could lighten the load here with the Ten of Wands. You might be thinking that something is a much bigger ordeal than it needs to be. There might be just some like easier ways to do what you're doing. And again, I like to stress that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be working hard. It just means that, maybe it's less of a burden. Maybe it's less of a mental burden and, all that other stuff. In the area of your foundation, you have the Page of Cups. I feel like you are, I kind of like this because, I like and I don't like imagination right now. Obviously, I'm a big fan of manifestation. I'm a big fan of kind of imagining things how I want them to be. But if there was ever a week where I would not do that, it would be this week. And that's not 100% accurate, but here's the thing. Again, I think we kind of need to be very spontaneous this week. So it's like if you have a very specific vision for how you want something to work this week and you're not going to be spontaneous because of it, then I would just be careful of that energy. And, that's something that I would, pay attention to with the Page of Cups. But I also feel like your imagination could be very helpful. If you have a very strong imagination where you have a goal and you can see 1,000 ways to accomplish the goal, then by all means, imagine those ways, kind of like imagine different ways of doing things. I feel like that could be kind of one of your strengths at this time. I also kind of feel like love could be entering into your life. Definitely could be a water sign. I'm getting like 3 to 6 months. I do not trust psychic timing at all. As I always say, the universe doesn't wear a watch. So, take that with a grain of salt. Take tarot with a grain of salt, period. I do this for a living. And I tell people this should be like a very, very, very small part of your life, right? Tarot, right? I feel like some people take it way too seriously. So, again, I would take this with a grain of salt, but I do feel there is love, or there could be love coming in for you here. Next, in the area of your past, you have the Strength card. This is you coming up in a very strong position. I don't really mind that it's coming up in the past. I feel like maybe you've worked through some things. These could be like mentally things that you've worked through as well. I'm really feeling focused on the fact that you see how this lion has its tail between its legs. It's kind of like her inner monster, her inner demons, her inner whatever you want to call it, are submitting to her. So it's like maybe you have overcome some demons, maybe you've healed from something recently, and I definitely feel that with the Strength card. In the near future, you have the Queen of Swords, cautiously optimistic. I also love that she is pointing right towards this Ten of Pentacles. So I do feel that you are kind of like cautiously optimistic at this time, looking forward and finally seeing things clearly. You can see that the clouds are only halfway up her body, so she like finally sees things clearly. I also do feel that there could be like an air sign coming in for you. Take it how it resonates. You have like water, earth, and you have basically everything here, so it could be any sign that's coming in for you in love, but I don't really do love readings anyway, but what I would say here is it could be an air sign that's coming in for you as well. I would say it's someone, here's the thing. I would say it's like someone who's what are the words I'm looking for here? I feel like it's someone who's extremely honest, but there's a way to say that that's different. I feel like this person is like, crazy, ridiculously honest, to the point where it might be embarrassing, but I don't know. those people are usually funny, right? That just say whatever is at the top of their mind, right? So it could be, but I feel like it's someone who's extremely open and honest and pretty much willing to share anything. Next, over the next few months, you have the World. I definitely see travel coming up for some of you here, and I'm also getting business travel as well. I feel there could be like a lot of ideas coming from business travel. Like if you're going to, like an event, if you're going to, like a business conference for your job or your career or something like that, I wouldn't stay inside. I would make sure, those are the words that are popping into my head, and I would make sure to get out there and network, kind of like meet some people. I really feel you could be meeting some very important people that could be very important for you. I'm also getting something very specific here that some of you, it's like you could be traveling back to a place you've been before. And, I feel like this is a place you've been maybe thinking about moving to. And I kind of feel like this trip, if you're going on a trip over the next, between now and the end of the year or something like that, I feel like you could end up deciding to move to this location or maybe near wherever you're going to. It's one of those things where maybe you've been somewhere before, and maybe the timing wasn't right. I kind of get the feelings of like, do I really want to move here? Do I not? I kind of feel like if you're going back to someplace, that this trip really kind of, solidifies things, really makes things more real for you and makes you realize, yeah, this is kind of like the place I want to be. So I definitely feel that for some of you with the World card. I see a lot of accomplishments here, Leo. Any changes you're making, I feel like the biggest thing for you is going to be, kind of jumping off point. I also feel like there's like a major boost coming in for you here, and it could be from another person. It's kind of funny. I don't want to toot my own horn here, or just to give you an example, my brother's a Leo, and I've been busting his ass trying to get him to start a YouTube channel. And it's like, I feel, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I feel like there could be a person in your life who's busting your ass, whatever you want to call it, who's like been like poking you, trying to say like, hey, get moving on this. It's like I have all the cheat codes, right? He's learning from someone that's been on YouTube for like 7 years, right? And longer, really. And so it's like I have all the cheats. It's like he's getting a big boost by learning from me. And I kind of have that for you right here. In the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like there could be someone who's close to you, could be a family member, could be a Pisces. You have the moon here, right? And, I feel, but it could also just be a friend, a family member. Take it how it resonates. And I feel there could be a person who kind of has like, not necessarily the cheat codes. I don't think that's the right way to put it, but just knows things that maybe you don't, that you see this old man here and he kind of represents the patriarch of this family on the Ten of Pentacles. But there's another little known meaning of the Ten of Pentacles, which is that he is a beggar and he has come to bring this family some gifts. This family has had a baby recently, and so it kind of represents him being a beggar, kind of represents, sorry, my foot was in the wrong place here. It kind of represents a person who has nothing to give, giving something to another person. And again, that's not exactly probably what's going to happen for you, but it does say, it's like, you never know, you might have like a sibling, or you might have a person who you might think doesn't know much, but maybe they're coming out with a banger here and of information. It can also represent learning from an unlikely source. The example I always like to use with the Ten of Pentacles, it's like, it reminds me, there was a documentary years ago, I can't remember what it's called, I think it was on Netflix, but it's like, it was one of those moments in my life that like woke me up, right? It was about this lady who had cancer and she was like begging to live. I was at a point in my life where I wouldn't say I didn't want to live, but I was at a point in my life where I was just like, I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't really giving up, but I kind of wanted to give up, right? And seeing her like begging for life, it woke something up in me where I was like, holy shit, this lady she died, obviously, and she was in such a crappy position, she would gladly have traded places with me, like where I was in my life, right? So it kind of woke me up, and that's how I look at the Ten of Pentacles. It's like sometimes we receive a gift from something where that could be like a movie, a documentary. It could be, just a person saying something to us. And it's like, we don't realize it maybe at the time, but it, could be a gift. And I'm getting that energy here for you with this Ten of Pentacles. I'm getting a lot here. I also get with this Ten of Pentacles that you could be meeting a person that you build a family with. Sorry, I can't get my feet to work today. But you have the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is like, happy home, happy family times 10. It's better than the Ten of Cups. To me, the Ten of Pentacles is the best love card in the deck. It kind of represents having everything you want. It is the tree of life. So if you've been thinking about having a family or, meeting with friends or all this other stuff, or, or kind of like building a community around you, a really good card for doing that. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Seven of Cups. I kind of feel good about this Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is a card of being spoiled for choice. Sometimes I feel it's good. Sometimes I feel it could be a little overwhelming. I do feel a little overwhelmed for you here, Leo, but not necessarily in a bad way. I kind of feel you feel maybe overwhelmed because of all the opportunities that are going to be coming in for you in the near future, like the second half of the year. And I with Mars going retrograde the second, at the end, closer towards the end of the year in October or whatever, I don't think it would be a bad idea for you to take all those ideas in and kind of crunch some numbers, process those ideas so that you can get ready for the new year. When we enter into the new year, maybe that's when you kind of launch these ideas. I also always like to remind people that just because it's retrograde doesn't mean you can't do anything. Again, if you're getting ideas for something you're already working on, it's perfectly acceptable to get moving. Retrograde, we revisit things, we redo things, we whatever. So it's like if you're something, then I would get moving. It just because it's retrograde doesn't mean you can't take action, right? And at the end here, you have the Temperance card and the Death card, so clearly a major transformation coming in for you, Leo. I feel like there could be some pretty big changes coming in for you with this energy. I feel like there could be a lot of like abundance and a lot of good stuff coming in with this Temperance Death energy. I really like where this is going here, Leo. So this looks pretty good to me. I do feel one warning here. It's not really that big of a deal, but you see this guy here. He kind of looks like the Hierophant. He's like a pope. I feel, and the words that are popping into my head are, don't accept things as gospel. It's like, I just said this to Aries, I think, that, there's so many things I do on YouTube that the YouTube experts, say don't work, right? And so I would be careful of like getting information and accepting it as gospel, especially with Neptune and Pisces. It's like I would take information in and I would see what works for you, but I wouldn't like just, put all my chips down on one idea, right? I would make sure that you're kind of experimenting and actually learning from the things that you're doing. I think that's going to be much more important. But let's see what's going on here With the moon and the Ten of Swords, obviously death card. Basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. I like it though, because, on the death card here, the two pillars from the moon are back here, and the sun is coming up between the two pillars. So clearly, maybe some improvements from a moon period. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Six of Swords, improvements, moving on to calmer shores. I wouldn't be afraid to kind of make some moves with the Six of Swords. This mother and the child in this boat, they're leaving everything behind, and they're making a big sacrifice, kind of. They're letting go of everything behind them, and they're moving forward towards calmer shores on the other side. So they're kind of trusting that where they're going is a much better place, and I kind of feel that for you. With the Page of Cups, you have the Four of Pentacles. Again, I wouldn't be too locked on to one idea. I would make sure that you are staying flexible in how you accomplish things. You're probably sick of hearing me say it, because I've been saying it to you for 2 months now at least, and if not longer. But I feel like the more spontaneous, more flexible you can be, the better. And I've literally been talking about it for months. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Sun, you, showing up in a very strong position. I told you, I knew that Queen of Swords was your energy, and the Queen of Swords does not represent you. I get that, but sometimes I feel like we show up as another energy in the reading. I feel like you're showing up as that Queen of Swords energy, and this is you, right here. You show up twice in this reading. Here in the past as a Strength card, here in the near future as the Sun. So that, to me, alone is a big improvement, going from Strength to the Sun. Much happier position. With the World, you have the Magician. Yeah, I feel like you've manifested a lot. Again, another card that really says, he has mastery over all the suits here. So it really says that you should be using all your tools at your disposal. It's also a card of reinvention. He has this Ouroboros wrapped around his waist, the snake eating its own tail, and it kind of represents reinvention. Definitely going through a major transformation. I feel like you will never be the same again here, Leo. It's like your life is clearly changing. I don't think it's happening this week. I feel maybe it starts this week. You start getting some ideas this week, clearly. But I'd say between now and next year, things are changing rapidly for you. And, I feel like you probably won't be doing things the same way. And a lot of people say, well, we're always changing. I'm like, yeah, but these are bigger changes. If this is your business, I feel like you're doing things in a much bigger way than you ever have, and probably more different than you thought you would be doing them. If this is a relationship, I feel like it's probably something that you're doing in a different way than you ever have before. With the Ten of Pentacles, here you go. Two of Cups, perfect match coming in for you. If there's love coming in for you, I feel like this is someone who's different than your usual type. I think that sometimes, especially if we have multiple failures in relationships, I always like to tell people, and trust me, I'm not perfect. I've done this. Trust me, I do it all the time, right? I'm the biggest relationship loser ever, right? And what I would say here with the Two of Cups is that it's if we pick the same type of person, it's probably because we're picking a person who we see as, kind of easy. And I don't mean easy, if you catch my drift here, Leo. I mean easy as in we kind of know what we're going to get with that type of person, which is not normally a good thing. It's if we pick a person with trauma and we pick them because we know that we know exactly how the relationship is going to go, then we need to pick a person that's harder. I feel like sometimes we don't pick people who are harder, or we feel like, I don't know how to verbalize what I want to say here, Leo, but I feel like sometimes we pick the same type of person because we just know how it's going to go. It's we're afraid to pick the good person, really, because we don't know how it's going to go, right? So I feel like this is someone who's very different, and I do feel a little bit of fear, but not in a bad way, just kind of not knowing how things are going to turn out. And so if there's a love that's coming in for you that's very different than what you normally go for, I feel like this is a good thing. I also feel like you're just in kind of alignment with the Two of Cups and the Four of Pentacles as well, believe it or not. His head and his heart are in alignment on the Four of Pentacles, you can see there. The Two of Cups is you and your higher self, so I feel like you're just kind of doing the things you're supposed to be doing. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Hierophant. We talked about the Hierophant earlier, actually, with the Death card. So I feel that for some of you, this is you kind of graduating. I feel like you've learned a lot as well. Sorry, I dropped the Hierophant. It's gone. So we're just going to leave it there, Leo. With the Temperance card and the Death card, you have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, again, I feel like it's saying don't think hard work. Although, the Ten of Wands, he's about to reach his home in the background right here. So the Ten of Wands really isn't a bad card. He's about to have a harvest. He's about to be successful. He's about to be putting his burdens down. So I feel like life, I wouldn't say it's getting easier, but I do feel like you are getting stronger here, Leo. So this is a really good reading. I'm going to leave it there. Love it. A lot of good stuff. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.